We're talking tight end draft strategy. I'm Dustin. Over there is Nameco. Lots to talk about with tight ends just in terms of all the moving and shaking and what's going on with the tight ends this year. Before we get into it, though,
let's talk about Fantasy Jocks. If you're doing a live draft this year, you know it's a lot more fun than just saying, I take this guy and write the name down. It's putting it on a gigantic draft board. So Fantasy Jocks has this stuff. You put that up, and then from there, it's got all the players' names. You take the sticker. It's like a real NFL draft. In the 8th round, Dustin Barkley selects a kicker, and then we all laugh as he puts it up.
And you can also get a flag, too, so when Donger picks the injured guy that's out for the year.
Ah, that's awesome.
Toss it in there and laugh at him.
Say, moron. All right, Dustin, let's start talking about tight ends. And what are you going to do this year with tight ends?
Tight end.
What to do?
That was good. Tight end, probably the deepest that I can remember. I mean, last year it was pretty slim pickings once you got out of the first handful of guys or so. But with all the movement, with Fleener going to New Orleans, Green going to Pittsburgh, Bennett going to New England, I mean, that opens up, gives more value to Dwayne Allen and Gates because they're not competing with those guys anymore. Even Jared Cook going to Green Bay, there's been reports saying he might not be the tight end one out there, but we'll see how that goes. But all these guys have moved and kind of spread out the tight end talent in the league, giving their more fantasy options. And we think this year it's going to be a lot easier to find a tight end that you're happy about in your draft.
And so based on that, some would say I'm confident, some would say I'm cocky, but based on my league is really what I'm going to do with my tight end. If I'm confident I can get late and middle round gems and running backs and receivers, then I am going to target the Gronks, the Jordan Reeds, and go for it and then build the rest of my team. But if I'm in a much more competitive league, I am okay not taking Gronk, not taking Reed, waiting, because there's at least 10 tight ends I'm extremely happy with, and there's probably almost 12 that I'm happy with. But then after 10, shocking to me, normally only take one tight end. I'll probably take two, like an Ebron and a Bennett, and see which one hits and go from there. So there's a lot of options in tight ends, and based on where you think you're going to be at your league, or at least me personally, that's what I'm going to do based on my strategy.
And in the early rounds, you do have some decisions to make, though. If you do want to lock in one of those top tight ends, I mean, Gronk, you're going to have to start thinking about it probably around the 5th pick. I mean, if you want to be the guy that owns him, he's going to go between probably the 5th and 9th pick in most leagues. So if you want him, that's where you're going to have to take him. And then the Jordan Reed, Olsen, and Kelsey are tier 2 tight ends. You know, you're still going to have to pay a pretty penny. There we go. Pretty penny to get those guys. I mean, Jordan Reed, we have right now going kind of late 3rd, early 4th. He's probably going to go even before that in some leagues. You know, Olsen's not too much farther behind him, and then Kelsey a little bit farther behind him. But I mean, if you want one of those 3 guys, you're looking between the 3rd and 5th round probably if you want to lock up a tier 2 tight end. So some decisions to make early on, but if you pass on them, there's options for days.
And if you pass on them, what I like, the 2 guys I'm specifically looking at that I would love if I'm going to take 2 tight ends, which is rare for me, but if I do that, I'd love to get Green and Ebron. I'd love to get those 2 based on where they're going to ADP. I think one of those have a big chance for a breakout campaign, and that's all that I'm looking for is the breakout sleeper kind of pick.
And also late round, don't forget about maybe pairing up an Ebron with an Eifert. You know, a guy coming off an injury.
That's a great move.
That would be a lot higher up in the rankings if the injury wasn't so much of a concern. So you don't really have to panic at any point in the draft on tight end, I feel, this year.
No,
I mean, normally there's that panic mode.
Right, if you see the run, you don't have to jump on the run.
Right, you know, a couple tight ends go, everyone starts panicking, and all of a sudden people start.
I will tell you what, though, in all of the draft, if you're doing online or even live drafts, just know what the other owners have too, right? If you're in a 10-team league and 9 tight ends are off the board fairly early, then you wait, right?
Yeah,
you're the last
forever.
one to get it. Just wait. If somebody takes second one, that's okay. There's depth, like we said. So know what the other people in your league have with tight ends, especially.
Lots of options at tight end this year. So again, don't panic. We are running a photo contest.
We are running one.
It's not going so well.
I don't know
so
if
far.
people are actually posting to one.
Get onto Instagram, follow us, send us pictures of your league things that you do that are fun. If you won your league last year, we want a picture with your trophy. If you have
At this point,
prizes,
any picture works.
I want some
I'm cool,
pictures.
but I'm cool with any picture to start.
Hashtag FST photo contest. The first 5 pictures that are anywhere somewhat related to what we're going for, we'll send you a koozie. Then we'll pick 5 finalists.
If you have a picture of yourself with an FST on a pink piece of paper, that'll work.
That's fine.
At this point.
We'll pick 5
Something about
finalists.
private. What's the deal with that?
If you're set to private and you don't follow us, we can't see your entry. We have some entries that we can't see because I think you're set to
sure
pride
they're
in,
awesome.
and it's sad. But your grand prize winner is going to be a belt.
Woo!
And if no one submits anything, I win because I submitted a picture.
I refuse to pay money out of my pocket to give Dustin a belt. We agreed to that, and it's awful.
No, we should do that. Also, our draft guide.
Please post something.
Get onto our website, download
Give
our
me a pen
draft
flip.
guide. It's pretty awesome.
Give me another one. Son of a...
It's terrible. Terrible. I'm going to win that contest.
Please post something. I'm serious. Piece of paper, FST on it. You get a koozie if you're one of the first 5. I will allow it. He might hate on it. I will allow it. Even though he's the boss. Will you allow it?
Sure.
Yay!